268 seconds. 2 minutes and 48 seconds. Congressman Eric Swalwell stood up, held a DHS document destruction log above his head, and asked the question that would silence the entire chamber for nearly 3 minutes. Mr. Miller, this log shows 127 DHS policy files were permanently deleted from federal servers between February 18th and February 22nd of this year. These were not temporary files. These were active investigation files, personnel records, and procurement documents. And according to this metadata report, the deletion command came from a single terminal, terminal ID DHS POL-47. That is your office computer, Mr. Miller. So I need you to explain something very simple. Why were 127 federal files permanently destroyed from your terminal 4 days after this committee issued a subpoena for those exact documents? Miller's hands went completely still on the table. Not tense, not gripping. Still. Like someone who had just realized they walked into a trap they did not see coming. His lead attorney's pen stopped mid-sentence. His second attorney's face went pale. And Eric Swalwell, former prosecutor, the man who spent years on the Intelligence Committee investigating digital evidence and classified information handling, had not even shown them the server backup logs yet. If you are new to Patel Report Files, subscribe right now, because what you are about to witness is someone who understands digital forensics, destroying someone who thought deleting files would erase the evidence. House Oversight Committee, Room 254, Wednesday afternoon, 2:47 p.m. Eastern. The hearing was listed as Oversight of DHS Digital Records Management and Cybersecurity Compliance. Digital Records Management, the most technical, boring title imaginable, designed to keep cameras away, keep attention low. It failed completely. Swalwell arrived with a silver hard drive, external encrypted. Security tried to scan it. Swalwell showed them a federal court order authorizing transport of forensic evidence. They let him through without opening it. Miller had no idea what was on that drive. His legal team had no idea. The IT director sitting 3 rows behind Miller had no idea. They were all about to find out. The first 50 minutes were procedural. Questions about server architecture, backup protocols, access logging systems. Miller gave competent answers. He cited cybersecurity frameworks. He referenced NIST standards. He looked comfortable. He even smiled once when a Republican asked a softball question about modernization efforts. He thought this was routine oversight. Then Swalwell took the microphone and the temperature in the room dropped. Mr. Miller, Swalwell's voice was calm, clinical, the tone of someone presenting evidence to a jury. The Federal Records Act requires all executive branch agencies to preserve records related to policy decisions, official communications, and congressional inquiries. You are familiar with this requirement? Miller nodded. Yes, Congressman. DHS maintains comprehensive records management protocols in compliance with all federal regulations. Good. Swalwell plugged the silver hard drive into his laptop, because I want to make sure we are all working from the same understanding of what preservation means. He pulled up a document on the screen. This is a congressional subpoena issued by this committee on February 14th of this year. It demands, quote, all documents, files, emails, and digital records related to border encounter methodology, contractor selection processes, and emergency fund authorization for fiscal year 2025, end quote. He looked at Miller. Your office received this subpoena, correct? Correct. And you understand that once a subpoena is issued, all responsive materials must be preserved. No deletions, no alterations, no transfers. Miller leaned forward slightly. That is correct, Congressman. Our IT department implemented a litigation hold on all potentially responsive materials immediately upon receipt of the subpoena. Perfect. Swalwell opened a file on his laptop. Then this should be very easy to explain. He turned his screen toward the document camera. The image appeared on monitors throughout the chamber. This is a server activity log from the DHS Office of Policy file server. Date range February 18th through February 22nd. And what this log shows is a series of file deletions. Not routine deletions. Permanent deletions. Files moved to a secure deletion partition and then overwritten with random data to prevent recovery. He scrolled down. 127 files total, all deleted within a 4-day window. All deleted after your litigation hold was supposedly in place. The room went quiet. Swalwell continued, and here is what makes this interesting. Every deletion in this log has a terminal ID, the computer that executed the command. He zoomed in on the screen. Terminal ID DHS POL-047. He pulled out another document. This is the DHS IT Asset Registry. It shows which computer is assigned to which employee. He held it up. DHS POL-047. Assigned user Stephen Miller. Your computer, Mr. Miller. 127 files permanently deleted from your terminal 4 days after we subpoenaed those files. A murmur started in the gallery. Miller's attorney was writing frantically. Swalwell was not waiting for a response. He was building the case piece by piece. Now, before you tell me this was accidental or routine maintenance or an IT error, let me show you what else I found. He opened another file. This is the deletion command log. It shows the exact commands entered into the terminal to execute these deletions. He read from the screen, command srmdel-r-f-wipe 7pass. He looked up. That is not a standard delete command, Mr. Miller. That is a secure wipe command. 7pass overwrite. That means the data was not just deleted. It was written over 7 times with random patterns specifically to prevent forensic recovery. He set the laptop down. Someone with your terminal executed a military-grade data destruction command on 127 federal files that were under congressional subpoena. And it happened over 4 days, not all at once. That shows intentionality, planning. Miller opened his mouth. Congressman, I am not personally responsible for every technical operation on my assigned computer. IT staff have administrative access for maintenance purposes, and you were logged in. Swalwell's voice cut clean. According to the authentication logs, your personal credentials were active on that terminal during every single deletion event. He pulled up another screen. February 18th, 11:47 p.m. You logged in, 3 files deleted at 11:52 p.m. You logged out at 12:03 a.m. February 19th, 10:34 p.m. You logged in, 11 files deleted between 10:41 and 10:58 p.m. He kept reading. February 20th, 1:23 a.m. You logged in, 47 files deleted between 1:30 and 2:14 a.m. The pattern continued. Late night sessions, your credentials, your terminal, your commands. The room was completely silent now. Swalwell looked directly at Miller. Mr. Miller, you were deleting subpoenaed files at 1:23 in the morning. 47 files in 43 minutes. Using a 7pass secure wipe command. That is not IT maintenance. That is evidence destruction. Now I need to stop for a second and say this. If you believe destroying subpoenaed federal files is a crime, hype this video right now. The hype button is right next to like. You can hype 3 times a day for free. We have 7 days to get this into the top 100 most hyped videos on YouTube. Every single hype counts. Do it now. Then keep watching because what Swalwell reveals next proves Miller knew exactly which files were subpoenaed. Miller's attorney stood. Mr. Chairman, these technical logs are subject to interpretation. My client may have been working late on legitimate document organization. And sit down. The committee chairman's voice was firm. Your client can speak for himself. But Miller did not speak, and that is when the silence started. Swalwell pulled out his phone, opened the stopwatch app, held it up. Mr. Miller, I'm going to ask you one direct question, and I'm going to time how long you refuse to answer it. He pressed start. Why did you use your personal login credentials to permanently delete 127 subpoenaed files using military-grade data destruction commands in the middle of the night? The room went dead silent. 10 seconds. Miller's jaw clenched. Visible muscle tension. 20 seconds. His attorney whispered something. Miller shook his head. No. 30 seconds. A Democrat from California spoke. Eric, if files were destroyed after subpoena, that is 18 U.S.C. 1519. That is a felony. Miller needs to answer. Miller said nothing. 40 seconds. Swalwell stood up, still holding the stopwatch. Mr. Miller, I served on the Intelligence Committee. I have seen classified information handling protocols. I have investigated digital evidence destruction. I know what it looks like when someone is trying to hide something. He walked toward the witness table, and I know what it looks like when someone gets caught. 50 seconds. Because here is what you did not know. DHS runs automatic server backups every 6 hours. 60 seconds. 1 full minute. Every file you deleted, we have. The room erupted, not with shouting, with the sharp collective intake of breath from people realizing they just watched someone admit to a crime that did not work. Swalwell waited for silence. That silver hard drive I brought in, it contains complete backups of all 127 files you deleted. Every document, every email, every spreadsheet, everything. 70 seconds. He held up the hard drive. Your IT department provided these backups in response to our subpoena. Either they did not know you were deleting the originals, or someone in that department wanted us to have the evidence. Either way, we have everything. 80 seconds. Miller's face had gone gray. 90 seconds. Swalwell walked back to his laptop. And here's what makes this worse. I did not just get the files. I got the metadata. He opened another document. Every file has embedded metadata. Creation date, modification date, last accessed by, and file classification tags. He read from the screen. Of the 127 files you deleted, 89 were tagged Congressional Inquiry Responsive. That is an automatic tag IT applies when a subpoena comes in. 100 seconds. You did not delete random files, Mr. Miller. You deleted files that were specifically tagged as responsive to our subpoena. That proves you knew exactly what you were doing. 110 seconds. A Republican from Ohio leaned into his microphone. Mr. Miller, just answer the question. This is serious. 120 seconds. 2 full minutes. Swalwell checked the stopwatch. 2 minutes, Mr. Miller, and I have not even shown you the best evidence yet. He pulled out one more document, because after I got the server logs, I subpoenaed your email account. And on February 17th, one day before you started deleting files, you sent an email to yourself. Subject line, files for removal. 130 seconds. The email contains a list, 127 file names, the exact same files that were deleted the next day. You made a list, Mr. Miller. You planned it. 140 seconds. Then you logged in late at night when fewer people would notice. You used a secure wipe command to prevent recovery. And you did it systematically over 4 days to avoid triggering automatic security alerts that flag bulk deletions. 150 seconds, 2.5 minutes. That is not an accident. That is not IT maintenance. That is premeditated destruction of evidence under congressional subpoena. 160 seconds. Miller's hands were shaking now, barely visible, but the cameras caught it. Swalwell stopped, looked at his watch. Mr. Miller, I'm going to count to 168, and then I'm going to move to hold you in contempt and refer this to DOJ. 165, 166, 167, 168. He stopped the timer. 2 minutes and 48 seconds. He turned to the committee. Mr. Chairman, the witness has refused to answer. I move to hold Stephen Miller in contempt of Congress for refusal to testify on material matters. I further move to refer this matter to the Department of Justice for criminal investigation under 18 U.S.C. 1519, destruction of documents in federal investigation, and 18 U.S.C. 1512, tampering with evidence. Both motions seconded immediately. Both passed unanimously. Swalwell gathered his materials. Mr. Miller, 168 seconds. That is how long you sat here, rather than explain why you deleted 127 subpoenaed files from your computer at 1:23 in the morning using a 7-pass military wipe command. He held up the hard drive. But your silence does not matter, because we have every file. We have the server logs, we have the authentication records, we have your email where you listed the files for deletion. We have metadata proving you knew they were subpoenaed. He paused. You thought deleting them would make them disappear, but you forgot something. Federal servers back up automatically, and someone in your IT department made sure we got those backups. The hearing adjourned immediately. Miller was escorted out. His attorneys surrounded him, but there was nothing to say. Eric Swalwell had just done what he does best. He followed the digital trail, recovered the deleted evidence, and proved not just that files were destroyed, but that Miller personally, intentionally, systematically destroyed them while knowing they were under subpoena. This is not speculation. This is server logs. This is authentication records. This is metadata analysis. This is an email Miller sent to himself listing the files he was about to delete. 127 files, permanently wiped, all recovered, all preserved, all entered into the congressional record, and 168 seconds where Miller could have explained it but chose silence instead. Subscribe to Patel Report Files right now, because tomorrow we release the complete list of what was in those 127 deleted files, and some of them connect directly to the other hearings. The offshore transfers, the missing disaster funds, the border statistics. It is all connected. Share this everywhere. Federal files were destroyed. The person who destroyed them just set a new silence record, and every single file was recovered. 2 minutes and 48 seconds. That is all it took to prove Stephen Miller destroyed evidence, and every second is documented.